Hey everyone, it's Fernando. Back here live. This time in my hotel room here at the Windstar Casino. Kind of doing an impromptu live video right now, only because it's been a pretty bad day when it comes to the weather. I posted it on my community tab a little while back, but yes, I woke up this morning to a bunch of thunderstorms and lightning. And I think, in fact, it woke me up earlier this morning. And when I looked out the window that morning, it was bad. It was raining pretty bad. And then right now, still it's raining. I gave it a couple of hours. Went and I worked out. Then I went and I ate. And then I came back to the hotel and then just waiting to see if maybe things would be a little bit better, but nope, it is still pretty bad out there. So unfortunately, that has sidetracked my plans to try to go see, in this case, the Aurora Cemetery in Aurora, Texas, the one that supposedly houses the little bitty alien that was buried there so long ago. I think in the late 1800s to be specific. But I was hoping that these couple of hours would allow enough time to pass for the rain to let up. But no, it is still out there. In fact, that's why I'm zooming in, like on the window, like you'll see there. You can still see some rain falling. I mean, it's still falling just consistently. And if I were to go even out further, you would see like trees kind of blowing in the wind. So it's been pretty bad. Oh, already a shout out. Why, hello. How's it going, Moon? Moon Wolfblood. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? But yes, so I'm trying to see if I can give it maybe one more hour. It's a long shot. I don't think it's gonna let up, but I'm gonna see if it dies down, and if so, I'll try to go out. Otherwise, no can do. Only because this Aurora Cemetery is completely out in the open. There's no way I can do a live stream out there to try to find, in this case, the cemetery grave for the little alien, and try to do so in these bad conditions. So no bueno when it comes to that stuff. Oh, another shout out, Jonathan. Doing good. How are you doing, sir? But yes, thank you for your nice comments, your nice views these past couple of videos. Seems like the Mary Celeste video really hit off. A lot of great comments there, and then the views keep going up. And then with regards to my other live stream there at the Lake Worth Castle, that was also pretty popular. Oh, another shout out. Doing How's it going today? I'm gonna try to see how far I can stay connected. So far, it looks like it's pretty good. Yeah, let me know please if the connection is pretty consistent, so that way I can know whether to switch between regular Wi-Fi or my own internet right now. But yeah, with all this unexpected free time, I thought I would do another Ask Me Most Anything when it comes to these live streams, just to see if anybody wanted to ask anything out of curiosity, and I'll try to answer most of those questions. So I'm going to let the stuff build up for a little bit, just a little bit longer. There we go. I'm back. I'm just going off my own phone from AT&T, so that way the connection is better than whatever is here on the Wi-Fi side. But I hope everyone is having a great day out there today, wherever you're at. Hopefully you have a bunch of good weather, much better weather than I have here. But yeah, just unexpectedly found myself with a bunch of free time today. Still no gambling. I'm not gambling anything here at the Windstar this go around. Just using them for the free rooms so I can travel. But that's about it. I will try. Well, no, never mind. I was going to try to see if I could go to a museum nearby to try to check that out, but I might do so tomorrow instead. Take a bunch of pictures there too. So, but yeah, just hoping everyone is doing fine. I guess this would be a good time. I'll give you some good info on what I was talking about the other day. I was mentioning I wanted to start a new series involving more of the stories that you find every now and then, like on TV or in the newspapers, maybe even online every now and then. Those disturbing stories where you just read and you wonder, how does that happen? Some of the stuff that people do. So I think, if I recall correctly, I was going to call them the Gruesome and Macabre series. And I plan on doing that. I'm going to try just a couple of test videos once I get back to my apartment here in a couple of days. And then that'll give you an idea. But yes, the stuff that I wanted to talk about is the stuff that I featured there, like the story that inspired Session 9. Can you believe that's a true story where a guy, a regular insurance guy, I mean, he was a career insurance man, for whatever reason, he just snapped one day. Like he was just your ordinary Joe type Smith guy. Like he was someone who had a wife, he had kids, and then something happened where she cooked the dinner wrong, and then just out of the blue, he decided to just murder her. He went all out, and then he actually took parts of her body, in this case the heart and the lungs, and then stuck them on some makeshift trees, like a twigs, like almost like a cross, outside in the backyard, and then he went to work for several days, and he was only afterward, when people started to wonder where she was, that's when it was found out, what happened. And then there's that other story about the guy who was taking a selfie. This is a more recent one. There in one of the national parks, it might have even been Yellowstone. They have these pools of acid. I guess you could call it acid, that you can go around, and you're told, and never cross certain areas, never cross certain boundaries, because of the nature of the ground itself. As long as you stay within certain boundaries, the ground is solidified. But if you go beyond it, then you risk going to an area where the ground is not so solid. Like there's a chance that underneath it might be more porous, and so you might have something where something happens and you fall in, or you fall under. And that's what happened to this guy. He of course decided in his youth and bravado to go into an area outside of boundaries to try to do that magical selfie that everyone tries to do nowadays on Instagram, so that way he could try to get as close as possible to an acidic pool and take a selfie right there. And then, as fate would have it, he just all of a sudden tripped, or the ground gave up under him because he was so close to non-solidic ground, and he fell in. He actually fell into that gigantic pool of nature's acid, and he was gone. He was done. Like he was pretty much dead on impact. And then, because of the acidic nature, everything was gone from him. Like the acid there, the pool, it just ate up his entire body, clothes, jewelry, bones, everything. There's no single trace of him afterward. Kind of crazy, right? Those are the kind of stories that I'll try to focus on when it comes to this stuff. So just to give you an idea. And then the thing that actually got me going on starting this series happened to be when I saw the info of that lady. I'm going to try to remember her name. I will find her name, that I saw there in Zach Bagans' museum. There was a room dedicated just to her. She was the one that decided to take Polaroids before she committed suicide. No, she didn't commit. It left it kind of vague. It made it seem like she knew she was on her last moments of life. How she knew, I have no idea. But she decided to take Polaroids right up to those last breaths. And when she did so, then that's when she saw something. Like something showed up in front of her, and she looked very, very scared. So that's why I'm going to do like a story on that too. So just to give you an idea of the stuff I'm going to focus on. Oh, some questions are coming in. All right. If I could see any monster, ghost, or alien, which one would you like to see? Definitely the ones that are more nicer, I guess, to the people. You don't want to run into any of the bad ones out there. I don't either. Like when it comes to any of these encounters or experiences, I would love to see some of the more legendary ones from afar. Like, who wouldn't want to see Bigfoot somewhere out there in this country? Just see him or it or her just lounging around, and then being able to see something like that. On a more fantastical side, I still think that Zartan is the largest cryptid ever, and so I would love to see the majestic grace of a creature that big, the size of an island, moving about in the far distance. Something like that. Nowhere nearby, clearly, nothing like that, but no, I want to be able to see it from afar. There's also some good-natured ones that I'm trying to remember. what their names were. There was one that was a benevolent spirit, like someone that was kind natured that lives in a tree. Trying to remember what that was because there was good fortune to come about. They had the yellow ribbons that would be tied around it to indicate that something there. The Holden folk are another set of cryptids that I would love, I guess, to see as much as you can see, because those are the ones where if you know that they're there in your area, you can't see them, sense them, smell them, nothing, but you can kind of know that they're there. Then you can make gifts to them. People have, they make little homes for them. They make little whatever trinkets for them, and then they post them next to the areas that they think they live at, and that's supposed to give you good fortune because you're taking care of them. So I would love to see something like that in person too. Have you thought about doing a video about banshees? Someone asked. I thought I did already in one of my past videos. I might have to double check for that. But I think I recall doing a video about banshees already. So, but check it out. Just go into the search option of my videos and then just type in banshee, and there's a chance that you'll see it there too. Oh, and one more mention. I'll have to mention these every time. I really appreciate it too. If anybody wants to do any super chats, I would greatly be humbled and appreciate that as well. So thank you as always for those that have done so before in the past. And then someone asks, if solid evidence of cryptids is found, do you think it should be considered protected cryptids? Yeah, of course. Like there's some cryptids where some of them are just acting as pure animals. Others are more intelligent, if you could call them that. So the ones that are pure animalistic, they're just like I would believe them to be just like any other animal in nature. They have to be protected. No hunting, no, like, let's say, trophies for them, especially if they're very, very, very rare when it comes to certain cryptids. So having something show up out of the blue, you want to make sure that that stuff is protected. Like one of my favorite cryptids, the Burunjor, one of my earliest ones, the living T-Rex there in Australia. Can you imagine if that one was found? Can you imagine if there was evidence of its location, there was a hunt for it, like an investigation to find it, and then it's found? Absolutely, like that thing should be protected, because then we would have proof of an actual dinosaur, a living dinosaur, a T-Rex no less. I mean, how popular would that thing be? It would be just amazingly popular. You would have lines around the world trying to see an actual living creature. So yes, I think they should be protected just like any other animals. Someone else asked, of all the alien sightings, what percentage do you think are really ETs? Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know much about alien sightings, evidence, encounters, just outside of just the stuff that I've talked about, but nothing really much outside of it. You would have to think that there's always going to be a percentage of these things that are hoaxes. I mean, people will just try to create something out of nothing, either for popularity, attention, money, of course, is another big angle. So you would always have to consider that some of these are going to be fake. So those will take it down the percentage. But every now and then there'll be stuff where you can't really explain it. You can't really knock it out and say, you know what, that was an illusion. That was nature doing something. That was a hoax. No, sometimes that stuff is just pure real. Like you can't say anything else otherwise. Stuff like when I was watching Extraordinary again on Netflix, the Stan Romanek story, some of the evidence he presented, you can't discard it. Some of the far away stuff too that he was shooting, of some orbs, of some of the ships that were floating around, that's really hard stuff to dispel. So if I would say like what are really extraterrestrial, some of those alien sightings, I would say probably around 5-10% is I would say confirmed, like in my opinion. So that's just me though. Another shout out, howdy Soviet Union, how's it going? Another question, do I think governments know of certain cryptids? I think so. Like I think that they have an idea of where certain locations are. If they're doing anything to them, I don't know. That's way above my pay grade level, as the saying goes. Or if they're doing anything to study them or capture them or just leave them be, who knows? I think they would have more attention spent elsewhere, like more important resources to take care of, rather than, let's say, worrying about the Snallygaster or some of the other cryptids I've talked about in the past. I guess, like, case in point, the chupacabra, very, very popular cryptid here in Texas, especially towards the southern part of Texas. But there's nothing in terms of any like Texas government departments that are spending huge resources for the chupacabra, like to take care of it, capture it, and something like that. So, but otherwise, I do think that some governments know, especially cryptids, and then maybe also aliens. Just depends on how friendly they are towards contacting aliens and so forth. Moon Wolfwood saying, "We're gonna head out. Nice chatting with you." Oh, thank you, sir. You as well. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. But yes, if like, I think the U.S. government probably would have some info on cryptids. They got to. I mean, whenever they were documenting certain land, they know that they would run into certain things, especially like Bigfoots. But whether they release it as public evidence, that'll be remain to see. There is always the Freedom of Information Act too, but nobody seems to have any, um, I guess, pressure towards trying to demand the government to release that info. Or if they do, have you ever noticed that whenever the government releases certain documents, they do so, but they do them redacted, like it's lots of lines blacked out, omitted, stuff like that. So another question: will I ever investigate the Waverly Hills Sanitarium? I will. Yes, it's on my bucket list. I will go there one day. If I had to time it, it'll probably be sometime between now and the next 5 years or so. The problem is that location is nowhere near a touristy friendly type place. And what I mean is, like, it's not a place that I can go and visit a whole bunch of other places and then also go there to the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Not like it's Vegas. Like when I go to Las Vegas and I do some of my ghost hunts there, I do so because when I go there, I go do that, and then I also go see shows, and then I also go do a bunch of other tours, and then I also, eat a lot of the great food there. So a lot of that stuff is all added in one place, one very nice, convenient, touristy place. But Waverly Hills, I can't remember where it's at. It's in one of the southern states. When I was looking up info for it, it is like in a remote place. So if I go there, I will have to go 100% just for that purpose. Maybe there's something else nearby, like I'll just throw a name out, like a Six Flags or something. Who knows? But something else I can also go visit too. But I would just have to go just to dedicate myself to that place. Plus, the problem is that place is sold out months ahead of time. Try to look it up yourself. Maybe it's still as popular as before, but when I tried to see just for fun when the next available dates were, you have to go months out, and that's a little bit more difficult to do so when it comes to trying to plan these things. But the owners definitely seem friendly towards investigations. They embrace it, which is awesome. I wish there were other owners of haunted places that were that friendly or that geared towards these investigations. They would certainly make a killing from it. So why some of them don't, I have no idea. But yes, the Waverly Hills is on my bucket list. Will I do it live? Yeah, absolutely. As live as it can be. Considering how remote it is, I doubt if there's going to be good reception there. But if there is, great, I'll do live streams. If there's not, then I'll just do a regular video recording. But yep, I would love to do it. And they do very private tours. So you can do like big group type tours for the cheapest price. Then you can do somewhat private tours for a higher price. And then you can do like the whole thing is yours. Not the whole thing, but basically you're on your own for a couple $100, if I'm not mistaken. And the way it goes is you are given certain floors to yourself because that place is huge. And then that way you'll stay the whole night, and then you can do it there with a very, very small group or just yourself even needed. Oh, someone asked, what is your favorite cryptid that I've looked at? I'm still a huge fan of Bloop. I have answered this, before in the past, because that's the one that started it all, Bloop. The one that my very first cryptid video, something that big out there in this world. It's just pure amazing. And then my favorite on the more mystical side is the Genius Loki, because I was attracted to him, her, it, whatever, from the movie Session 9, one of my favorite movies. And so when I did a video dedicated to the Genius Loki, I got this put in together a lot of great info that I love of that cryptid. Will I ever visit the suicide forest? No, not anytime soon. Number one, it's obviously overseas. I don't have any passport, like a traveling passport. I don't plan on getting one any because everywhere I want to travel is just here, pretty much in the U.S. Maybe I'll do two cruises in the future that travel from like California to Hawaii or California to Alaska, but that's about it when it comes to as far as the ways as I'll travel. But who knows? Never say never. But number two, unfortunately, that whole Paul Logan or Logan Paul fiasco just completely ruined the chances of anybody going out there for this type of stuff, for investigations. I'm pretty sure that now, in order, if you're a foreigner and you're trying to get access to the suicide forest, everybody's going to look at you with a skeptical eye because of what he did. Even Zach Baggins, I follow him on Facebook. Even he posted on it. He said, because someone asked him that same question, will he ever visit Suicide Forest? And he said he would love to, but he thinks that with what happened, there's going to be such a huge problem now for foreigners to try to go, and especially so anybody that goes in with requests to, document stuff there. So it's pretty bad. William, are you still in Vegas? Sin City Renee? No, I'm here actually. What is this place? It's the Windstar, but I'm trying to remember where the city is called. I think it's called Thackerville, Oklahoma. So what's curious about Texas is a no gambling state, which is kind of hypocritical because Texas has one of the largest set of people with income to gamble. And the proof shows in the amount of money that's spent outside of Texas to gamble. So, for example, I think I read somewhere Las Vegas on an annual basis gets about $25 billion, like in terms of their annual gambling revenue. Almost $5 billion of that, 1/5, comes from Texas alone. Can you believe that? So imagine the entire world, all the countries, all the cities, all the states, everything, all of that equals 25 billion. But 1/5 of that comes from one single spot alone, Texas. So that goes to show like the kind of hypocritical stance of Texas. They'll state that they're not a gambling state, but they definitely have a bunch of people that go outside to gamble and have fun, just like myself. But yes, no, that's why I'm not in Vegas. I'm over here in Oklahoma, which borders the Texas area. Like literally, if you cross Texas up north, then you cross a river, and less than 1 minute away from that border is the Windstar Casino where I'm at right now. So that's why there's a bunch of casinos that hug Texas because of the large amount of tourists that travel out of Texas to gamble. It's crazy. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I remember reading back in about 2012, there were plans, and this was crazy, amazing stuff. It's insane that they didn't pass, but there were plans to finally bring gambling to Texas. But guess who fought it tooth and nail? That's right. Vegas fought it. Oklahoma fought it. Other places like Louisiana fought it as well. And then a bunch of organizations in Texas, like the lotteries, and then also the bingo people, a bunch of them there also fought it to pass, in order to make it not pass, because they in turn would lose so many tourists and so much money. So it did not pass. But if it would have passed, there would have been like 3 casinos in Dallas, 2 casinos in San Antonio, I think 4 in Houston. It was going to be like a total of almost 12 casinos throughout Texas as a starting point. So amazing stuff. But long story short, no, I'm not in Vegas. I plan on going again sometime in mid-July for my birthday week. So I'm going to be back there again, and I'll try to do another set of live streams and then another set of private tours too. So that'll be pretty fun. But yeah, I'll definitely be back out there at least in mid-July. Someone else already asked last go around, would I ever bring anybody there with me to these tours or these live streams? Yeah, I'm always open. I mean, never say never, but I'll let everyone know if I say go, if the go ahead is on that part. Brony plays one. Hey Fernando, hello back. Corey Black says hi Fernando, hello. How's it going? Brony says call me Rick or Ricky. Okay. Sounds good, Rick. Absolutely. Wolf Trans says, "Cool, thanks. You're very welcome. Very welcome." So, Sin City Renee says, "Is he cutting out?" Let me know. I switched it to my phone's AT&T cell service, so it doesn't show me bad connection. But if anybody knows, like, send me some comments, like if this is cutting out or not. Just let me know. So, someone says a little bit. Okay. Other says stream seems fine. Okay. My favorite that you did was a tulpa. Yes, I love the tulpa too. I love the idea that you can create kind of like your own, for lack of a better term, best friend out of nowhere, like out of thin air. The only problem is that thing has a mind of its own, and then afterward, if you try to get rid of you can't do it. Like it's there now, and so you kind of have to eat essentially what you created. So it was crazy when I was reading some of the stories too of people who had great circumstances with their tulpas. That's great. That's fantastic. Those are the people that would always continue to have a friend ready to help them out with anything whenever they need it. And then there was those stories of people that stated that they created a tulpa, but the tulpa didn't like the situation. Like they're trapped with that person. That's the problem with the tulpas. Some of them will like you, some of them won't, but they can't get out of that situation. So when that happens, they're stuck with them unless they find a way to get rid of those tulpas. But that was so interesting also to see the drawings that people will do of their tulpas. And then to this day, I still wonder, like, do they see the tulpas? Like, can they actually see them in front of them, like 2 feet away when no one else can? And I still can't get a straight answer for it. But yes, thank you. That was a really great video. I love it. I love it on the info for it too. So, where am I? Yeah, sorry. Since the internet, I had to double check because the WinStar will never, like, it's funny, like they'll say here they are just north of Texas, but they'll never really state the city. In fact, I don't even think this is a city. This is one of those Native American territories that have the ability now to gamble. And so a lot of native tribes are doing that all the time. They're throughout the US. And I know all this because I love casino news, I love gambling news, I love Las Vegas news. So it's just, I love business, so I love reading this stuff all the time. But yes, the places here, they're like a sovereign city. It's weird. It's a weird situation. So that's why I had to think, like, where am I? Because these places, they have a city, Thackerville, but they never really state that it's Thackerville. Instead, they'll state it's Chickasaw County, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that's the main word that seems to be everywhere planted here. Oh, will I visit the USS Lexington? Yes. In fact, I've been there once, and I have a video for it too. Check out the search option if you wanted to see my visit there originally, including some of the best evidence that I captured yet, which shows like a mist coming out of one of the corners of the noted haunted engine room. But I'm going to go back. The group I'm in is called Spectra, SPCTRE, Southern Paranormal Control, Texas Research, not explorers, but research expeditioners, something like that. They have a lot of great connections to visit haunted places that are normally like closed off for private investigations, but they can get in. So I was able to join that group, and we plan on going sometime, not in the summer because unfortunately it's way too hot, and the USS Lexington doesn't have climate control and throughout most of the parts of the ship for like an investigation. So we might go in the fall instead. But yes, it is a to-do list. I can tell you right now though, I won't be able to live stream because it'll be in the middle of a ship with all this metal surrounding it. And I remember when I was there, like the cell reception was horrible. So imagine trying to live stream, but I'll do a bunch of videos. Absolutely. So, Sin City Renee, yeah, it's raining. Yeah, that's why I'm pointing towards the window, because I wanted to show everybody that, yeah, this rain is horrible. It's completely knocked down all my plans. It's still raining. I can still see the rain hit the windows and so forth. So it's pretty bad. I don't think I'm gonna have any chance to go out today. So, blonde moment. No worries. No worries. Cincinnati Renee. No apologies needed on that part. What do you think about people confuse mangy coyotes for chupacabras? I think that is true. I think absolutely. When you see these coyotes or any other wolf-like dog out there in the wild, and they get that unfortunate mange, or even regular dogs, dogs that are lost, or dogs that just are not domesticated, they have that look to them that makes them look otherworldly. Like they have this sick skin on them, and it looks so bad. Like it looks almost straight out of Silent Hill. Like with the oh, what's that dog's name? The Slurper, like where they have that rotting skin on them. I feel so bad for these animals whenever they have that mange, because they can't do anything about it. It just literally takes over their entire body, and they have no way to treat themselves unless somebody, a human or some other department, does it for them. But can they be confused? Yes, because when you look at them, they lose all their hair, then they get that sick look to them, that scaly look with their skin. And so that's why I think a lot of people were confusing them. In fact, there's that famous video of that police officer who captured what he thought was a chupacabra on his dash cam as he was traveling one of the rural southern Texas roads. I'm sure you've seen it. It was pretty viral for a good while, but a lot of people, skeptics that looked at it, were saying no, that's an animal that has mange on it. It's a dog or some kind of small wolf that has very, very unfortunate large amount of mange, very fatal too, because once this stuff takes over, it'll just leads to bad infections and just a bad all around experience, ultimately just to demise of the creature. So I agree with it. I do agree that that's what it was. Will I ever come to Connecticut? Not sure. Someone asked. Maybe. I don't think so. Like anytime in the future, only because there's nothing there that really like that stands out like that I want to see up front. But never say never. Who knows? But so far I'm just sticking to like places that I want to try to find interesting things that are at least interesting to me, like Washington D.C., Las Vegas, a bunch of parts in Texas, Florida also stands out that I want to go see, and then some parts of California, including the Queen Elizabeth, the QE2, the famous haunted ship, that kind of stuff. But never say never. Who knows? So, King Charisma says, I'm in Texas, I'm in Oklahoma City. Yes, thank you. Yeah. This is the furthest that I've gone to Oklahoma, is this Stackerville place. I do have it on my bucket list to go even further one day and to try to visit the memorial for the Oklahoma City bombing. That problem is that thing is, it takes me like almost 4.5 hours to get here from Austin. And so if I go to Oklahoma City, it takes yet another hour and a half, 2 hours. So that's literally like 6 hours above in travel time. That's a lot. So I might have to plan it one of these days to do so, to do it, and then to get to Oklahoma City. So Houston here. Oh, great. Fellow Texan. Thank you, Corey. I grew up in Galveston Island. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's in Texas, right? Like that's Galveston, but just right off the coast, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty interesting. I wonder how you got to Vegas then. That's where I'm going to move one of these days. My go-to point is within the next 2 to 5 years, I'll be moving there. So that's a place that you're already at. So that's awesome. Let me know how Vegas is. Griven Cat says, "Wow, okay. Hello, hello. Wow, back. Born in Fort Worth. Oh, okay, great. Fort Worth is a pretty neat town. It's a small town, not quite as big as Dallas. When I was visiting it the other day, and I visited multiple times in the past, it seems like more like a spillover from the Dallas Arlington area, but it is a pretty nice place. So, Miss Texas, yeah, it's a great state to be in, especially living. That's why a lot of people move here, because the weather is all right, except for the summers, which have 100-degree plus all the time. And then also, it's not too many hurricane problems every now and then, just a couple of hurricanes, but that's about it. No income tax here, or is it state tax? One of those two. But yeah, that's why a lot of people move here. And then they have also lots of jobs here. Whenever the recession and the financial crisis was happening, it was still, and it still is to this day, like if you were to take top 10 cities with the largest number of population move-ins, 5 of them will be Texas related. It's crazy stuff. Cincinnati Renee asks, "Oh hell, in July, did you go to a saloon down south? If you're up to it, I can take you down there. It's haunted as hell." A saloon down south? Well, is that like a restaurant or like a store or someplace like a business? In other words, yeah, it's always a possibility. Sure. Who knows? But yeah, I'll be there in July. I already have some confirmed dates. I just had to finalize. The closer I get to July, probably around April or May, I'll start buying tickets to various shows, and then that's when I can truly check my calendar. But yeah, it's always a possibility for something like that. Sure. Let me see. What else? One moment, please. I knew someone who has a tulpa. Oh, tell me more. That's interesting. In fact, if you can, uh, Colonel Jerton, if you can post it on my tulpa video to share it with everyone, because it's great to have something like this live stream, and you see like some people watching now, and then others that'll be there watching afterward. But if you go to my tulpa page and you posted your experience there, that'd be awesome. Like if whoever this person is who has a tulpa, then that'll be amazing. So and I'd be interested in reading it too, because again, it's weird how something exists, but only to the eye of the person that's there. Place in Oklahoma called the Center of the Universe, where you stand in the center, you can hear your own voice, but people can't stand sitting outside can't hear you. Oh, fascinating! I wonder where that is. If you can post, comment here, or post it on where would I put it? Yeah, put it on the community tab. The comments that I have there about my visit here. I'm interested. That'd be something that I would want to check out next time I'm in Oklahoma City. So. Someone asks, if you were stuck in the woods and found Bigfoot, you're starving to death, would you eat Bigfoot to survive? Probably not. He would probably eat me. It's definitely a losing battle when it comes to Bigfoot, because here you have something that is just, imagine the strength of a gorilla, but even more so, and then the agility of it and the way that it can just camouflage itself so perfectly. No chance, no chance at all. So, but something like that. But if there was a dead Bigfoot and I was scavenging, sure. I mean, why not? It was probably going to taste like chicken anyways, like most anything else does in life. So, Charisma is in Tulsa, I think. Sure, but that's what I've heard. Oh, so that's where that thing is, the center of the universe. Interesting. I don't know where Tulsa is, so is that closer or further away from Texas than Oklahoma City is? But if whatever is the case, that sounds interesting. I wonder if that's like a place with an actual spot, like down to an almost metaphorical X on the ground, where you can just go in and then there it is. There's that spot, and you can stand right on it. If so, that's so cool. That would definitely be something I wanna hear. I wanna try out. So. Because I heard some scary tales of Bigfoot hunting people for possible food sources. I agree. There's no indication that Bigfoots are just herbivores where they just eat plant life. So I could totally imagine them, if you're out there stuck in the woods, you're one of those poor souls or poor fools that gets themselves lost in the vast forest of America. That when you do so, that bam, all of a sudden you have this thing stalking you. You have no chance whatsoever. So someone says Chickasaw, Chickasay. Oh, Chickashay. That's how I pronounce it. Oh, okay. But it ends in W. That's why I thought it was Chickasaw. But maybe I'm saying it all wrong. You know how the English language is? Like through, throw, and thought. All basically the same word. Through, though, and thought. But for one single letter, they all sound completely different. That's why it seems so interesting. Seeing the more haunted places, the worst camera issues there are. It can be. I know definitely that when it comes to this stuff, they'll stand in front of a camera. I've had photographs, and I've shown evidence of it before, where all of a sudden it looks very orangey, and that's because there's an orb standing literally like an inch or probably less than an inch away from the actual camera hole. So, and then of course, camera issues involving draining of batteries. We had those happen at the Yoakum Hospital when I was just at the other weekend or so, and the experience draining of batteries on some EVP equipment too. New batteries, like they didn't even start. The battery was already gone because of the draining. And I agree too that they'll probably try to mess with the lag as well. I went to 3 batteries at Stanley, said Sensei Renee. Oh, so yes, they do play around with the batteries. That's how they get the energy source. In fact, Jerry Ray, the guy that was there from the group Spectra, he said it as well. Like, they'll just eat up batteries. That's how they can get the stuff going. And if you happen to be in a thunderstorm, even better, because they'll use the lightning or surrounding the environment to try to get some stuff too. Ghosts can cause camera issues. Agreed. I noticed this on a few occasions at Josh Gates' show in some scary places. I don't know who Josh Gates is. Is he like a YouTuber, or is he someone that does TV episodes? So Tulsa is where Black Wall Street was destroyed. A lot of people were murdered. Oh, Tulsa. Oh, okay. Black Wall Street was destroyed. Tulsa. What was that? Don't exactly know what that meant there. Recent hangings in Guam. I think electronics are flipping out. Yes, they do. Yes, indeed. So Dan P says, "Hey, can we get a hey? This is Fernando." Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey everyone, this is Fernando. How's it going? Like I usually start my videos, so much appreciated. So, Sincere Renee, Pioneer Saloon. Oh, okay, that's the one. Yes, I've been there before. Um, yes, I was there for the Good Springs Hotel, Good Springs tour there in Las Vegas. They took us to the Pioneer Saloon, and then they took us afterward to Good Springs for it. So that was a lot of fun too. I would definitely do another revisit there because we got to spend probably around 30 minutes, 45 minutes tops there, and so it's a place that you want to stay even longer. So that's pretty cool. Thank you for the mention there. Hey dude, hey Simon, how's it going? Been to place Oklahoma City bombing. They have these chairs that light up at night. They have names of the victims that the chairs represent, and the spots where the victims died. Wow, wow. Talk about a somber place. Then, like, imagine being there, right at that location where the bombing occurred. You know, it was. I was just watching maybe 2 months ago a documentary on it, and they were playing. There was a meeting that was being held in some government building or something a couple of blocks away, and it was being recorded at the time. I guess you're there for that department whenever they had meetings to record it. And so on that morning they were recording the meeting, just doing normal things, and then there was that huge boom, that actual blast from the U-Haul or whatever that moving truck was. But it was crazy. Like whenever you hear it there on the recording, it gives you an idea of just how gigantic that blast was. I mean, so to be there at that spot, to see the chairs light up, to see the names, how incredibly somber that must be. So Pioneer Saloon, yes, that's indeed the place where Zach was, and I've been there, so that was so awesome to be there. Oh wow! Somebody said sent us $2 super chat. Sire New York. Oh, thank you so much appreciated, Sire New York, for that super chat. In fact, they stated Will Snopes says Edward Mordrake didn't exist. Also, they have done the infamous where Snopes will say whether it's true or untrue. I'm gonna have to look it up. Maybe I'll even do an update for that video, because if you check out a playlist that I have of my more popular videos, I still think it's number 2. Like, it's insane the number of views that this video has. So if Snopes says that it didn't exist and they are pretty spot on, I'm gonna have to do a follow-up for it. But yes, thank you so much. I'll take a look, and then I'll give a response to it afterward. And thank you also for the super chat, Sire New York. Much appreciated. If anyone wants to do any other super chats, I would also greatly appreciate it so much too. So Expedited Notion has gone on some freaky paranormal hunts. Ooh, some more evidence associated with that too, when it comes to the idea that, hey, there's stuff that's messing around with the equipment. They don't like to be recorded. As Jerry Ray says in the group, they don't do parlor tricks. They'll do what they do, and then that's it. Whether you want to see it or not, or whether they want to show something or not. So I went to Sedona in Arizona. Energy Place is amazing, almost as good as Tombstone. Interesting, Sensei Renee. If you have any experiences you want to share, post it on maybe one of my next videos there. That'd be great. I know someone that was living there in Arizona too, and she said that there was a lot of Native American land there that has like these spirits. They're not, and the spirits are like in the loosest sense, like they're more like entities. They're more like what does she call it? Eternities, ether. What do they call it? Elementals. That's right, elementals. And so that's freaky stuff. Because elementals are like spirits, but with nothing holding them back. Like there's no reasoning with them. There's no trying to figure them out. They just act on pure impulse, and they're there before you, they'll be there after you, so they don't care much about people. So that's crazy stuff. Tombstone, almost as good as Tombstone. I've never been there, but I would love to go there one day too. So that'd be interesting. King Charisma says when bomb went off, Timothy was blocks away, had so much force it lifted him and other people off the ground. I believe it. Well, that sound that you hear whenever the explosion happened on that recording, it's just unreal. Like no movie magic can ever try to recreate that sound. So started since it continues. Tombstone was amazing. Place I walked in, started crying and walked right back out. Birdcage salute. Oh wow, that's interesting. I mentioned that I'm glad you mentioned that, because when we went to the Yocom hospital, there was a room that we all saw for the first time. The guy there, Jerry Ray, went in and he just immediately walked out. He was like, nope, I'm not going back in there. Like he just went in, and a half second later he was walking out. He just felt this huge wave of something, like something hit him, and he was out. And when I went back, I followed him like second or third person in, and I didn't see anything, feel anything. But I believe it that some people have that experience, just like you did there at the Tombstone place. German Cat says, do you think Roswell Mixel Crash has any residual haunting from the ETs that died? Oh wow, I never thought of that. So there's the idea clearly that there's residual hauntings from people whenever something really bad happens. But what about aliens in this case, like a crash landing, instant death in that moment? Does it create a residual haunting? I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. And that's if you can find the actual spot too for the alien crash, because no doubt it's on private land, and I don't think anybody would want to allow like someone to try to find it, but always could be an idea. So King Crimson said the man's engine shot hundreds of feet in the air, landed across the street. Wow, no kidding. I don't doubt that at all, because of the stuff that occurred there. Yes, like elementals in Sedona, they do what they do. You stay out of the way. They're eternal. I first heard of elementals, yes indeed, on that tour in Good Springs, when apparently we came in contact with an elemental. The tour guide Draven, he was walking around and someone was asking questions, and something was responding back on that EVP type machine, the one that lights up with the red lights. And then the person asked, are you an elemental? And then it responded yes. And then that's when Draven was like, okay, everybody stop, stop right there, everyone stop. Like it got that serious. And then he said, now, because you said you were here, I'm going to go ahead and just, he started talking to the elemental, addressing that directly, stating that that they're here just as guests. They don't mean any harm. Please don't do anything bad to anybody there. Don't follow anybody. We're just passing through, is the nicest way of that he was trying to say it. So, but that was freaky when I ran into that. So very interesting stuff. Show my face. You actually get to see it in one of my other videos, the live stream that I did in Las Vegas. Check that out if you have a chance. The one with the parks. I wanted to do it as a special edition since that was a private hunt that I had with the lovely Randy there. So that's one of the rare times that you'll get to see it. Don't worry, you're not missing much when it comes to this mug here. But yeah, if you want to see it, it's there. Absolutely. Birdcage is supposedly very haunted. Yes, I remember that episode too from Ghost Adventures. Whenever they had those experiences there, didn't they have that wagon that's in there too, in the birdcage? And then there was the reenactments they were trying to do with the games, like the card games as well. So I totally believe it too. Kingstrom said, also stood in the X where JFK was assassinated at the Texas School Book Depository. I've been there. I've been to that location in Dallas on the street. I never got a chance to stand on the X because lots of traffic was passing by, and I saw the grassy knoll, the infamous grassy knoll there too. And I got to get as close as I could to it. So it's interesting that even after all these years, there's still huge debate for what happened there at that location. I totally agree that stuff does not add up. The idea that one person could shoot three times in like what 30 seconds at a moving object from that far away, with all the people running around. So it's interesting that there's still that debate. I paid for the tour of Birdcage, but I walked out. Manager finally told me, said, "Okay, you're an empath. This isn't the place for you, honey." Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. There's those people that have that connection, that click, like Randy did as well on several instances at Zach Baggins' museum. And then I mentioned Jerry Ray too, there at the Yocom Hospital, and then others within the tour group there too. Also, were experiencing things too. I don't have it. I don't know why. It's something where I guess these things don't want to talk to me, or something else. Who knows? But yes, I totally agree that you would, that if you have it, Sin City Renee, I totally agree that you would have it. So I was wondering why ghosts. What's that from? Brony said. What's what from? Sorry. Is that a callback to something? You'll have to let me know. I was wondering why ghosts have clothes. Why do clothes end up in the afterlife? That's a good question. There's that story too. There's a meme or one of those funny cartoons that says, "Every day that you dress, make sure you dress well because if you die, that's what you'll come back as a ghost." So imagine if you dress like a spotty jersey, like a torn up jersey or something, then that's how you'll end up coming up afterwards. So, but who knows? I don't know why ghosts have that trait where they come back as the very last thing they wore when they can technically try to do and wear anything they want, presumably, but who knows? So, Grimmy Cat says, "Oh, Renee, that makes much sense. Yeah, but it's like walking into the wall of depression." I've heard that from others too. Very idea. Renee says, "I was just sobbing and running out." Wow, it must have been that bad then, huh? Like something just that wall just hit so hard right there. Amazing, amazing stuff. Thank you for sharing that experience. So, I'm noticing what exactly is an elemental. I don't have much info on it too, unfortunately. And the thing is, you don't really want to know too much. From what I understand, it's one of those things where if you know about them more, they kind of know about you. That's why it's almost like taboo to talk about them in certain parts of Native American lands, because you don't want to have these things suddenly like say who's mentioning my name, something along those lines. But I'm sure the info is out there. But yeah, I don't want to do too much talking about something like that. Dealey Plaza is haunted. I don't know. That's a good question. That could be. It's not, I'm not saying that it's not. So I just don't have much information from that. I still really Harvey Oswald took the shot, and it's a hard angle. I was there too. The thing is, though, they have that place glassed off, so you can go to that floor that he was at least last time I was there, and you go to that floor, you go to that window area that he was at, and but they have a glass surrounding like maybe 3 foot behind it or 3 foot in front of it to try to preserve like what's there, and so you can't really go right to the window, but you can get as close as you can to it. And yeah, it's a pretty hard angle. I don't know if it's changed though, if that glass is still there. But wow, I've been there too. Amazing stuff to see history right there, essentially. Someone else says, "Wow, Renee, hard way to find out." Yeah, when it suddenly hits you, that's very real. You don't know about it beforehand, so. Oh, she continues. So, since Renee, my friends knew it. They didn't tell me. They wanted to see how I'd react to a place like that. I was mad. Oh, yeah, that's not a kind way to introduce a place like that. If it's gonna happen, warn someone so that way they know if that person is gonna have a problem later on, that they don't get hit with that stuff. So wow, okay, it's like DNT mess with more than one dimension. Is what like DNT? Oh, like elementals? Maybe it's possible. Like that video that I did about oh, what were they called? Oh, the name doesn't come to my mind. I'm trying to remember. So I'll watch me think about it as soon as the video ends. But yeah, it was this video that I did of those things where if you take that drug, then they start appearing, and they're always around you, but they only appear whenever you have a certain state of nirvana or something from that drug itself. But this is completely different. These are elementals where they've are been here since, if you go by the right idea, like since beginning of time. Like they have been here forever, and they'll continue to be here forever. They just happen to be in a place that like our earth just happens to be in their place, not vice versa. And so that's why they don't take too kindly with people. Like not kindly, it's more like imagine if there's an like this is the best way I could think of. Imagine there's a piece of land, always been that way, that land, there's ants there, and then all of a sudden a construction starts on a new community, and the community raises that entire land, destroys all the ant hills, everything there. Do we do it out of malice? No, it's just because it's now our land now. So imagine that kind of uncaring mode. That's the sense that I got from elementals, where they'll just do what they want, not because they're that bad, but because they just don't care about you. So in my opinion, Dealey Plaza does not feel haunted, but this feeling is indescribable when you stand on the X outside. Oh wow, I would have to go back, maybe try to do it in the nighttime. That'd be interesting to see if I get that same feeling too. But when I went there, it was during the day, and it was always very crowded, so I didn't get a chance to like try to sense or anything like that by myself. So Anyang says hello, hi everyone, hello, hello. Dealey Plaza is really big. That's true. It's a small place. When you see it always in all the movies, TV, documentaries, and then when you see it in person, it's just like anything else in life. It's small. It's a place where you suddenly are there, and you don't, and there you are seeing history. I once saw a UFO. I saw a triangle UFO. Found out later it was a government craft. Like all those stories you heard about in the past about the stealth bomber and how people thought it was a UFO, but it turns out that yeah, it's a government craft. But how did I start making videos like this? Oh, you mean like at the beginning? I always just did it just out of the blue, only because there wasn't too many people doing these type of things, or there were, but they would do them like 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long, stuff where it was very little info, and then that info was meshed with like this annoying rock type heavy metal music, that it would just be something being presented where I thought it could always be done better. And so I decided to just do it one day, and lo and behold, it looks like people caught interest on it too. So I'm glad that there's other people like-minded like me that want to see good info on very interesting subjects, and then present it in a way where it's more of, could it be real? Yes. Could it also not be real? Yes. It's up to you to decide. I just simply present the info as is. I've always had an interest, but I can't travel much anymore. Vids are fascinating. I actually don't travel much either. I just travel throughout Texas, driving distances, that kind of stuff. About the only state I visit outside of Texas is Nevada, but that's about it. So if you're like me and you want to do it, just do it. I mean, I'm sure you'll find nearby cities, maybe small towns that have plenty of interesting things to look at, haunting, notable urban legends, stuff along those lines, and you can just drive. I love it too because it's a great weekend type excursion activities on the cheap too, because lots of places that you visit are practically free because they're lands. Like what are you going to do? You don't pay anything to see these things, like cemeteries or some of the other places I visit. So that's why I love doing it. So visit fascinating. Thank you. Much appreciated, Cincinnati Renee. Thoughts on Bloody Mary? I've done a video on her before. I've even visited a noted... No, never mind. I was thinking La Llorona. My apologies. Bloody Mary, yes, I've done a video on her before. I think she's definitely an all-star. I think a lot of people think that they've had contact with her, and a lot of people truly probably have. I just don't have much info myself. So, my battery's running low. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'll give it about another minute or so. But yes, those are my thoughts. I just haven't had too much experience. I don't want to do any summonings either. That's a big no-no on my part. So I'm not going to lock myself like in the bathroom and then try to do ritual or Bloody Mary 3 times to try to bring her up. So if anyone else wants to do that, by all means, but I try not to do that kind of stuff. But I do believe that there's something to that story, um, because considering how many people have something related to an experience with her. So last couple questions. I watched something at night, bright like a star, looked up high, was doing a little zigzag. Ooh, you might have seen a UFO right there. Absolutely. Thank goodness you didn't lose any time either. Black Knight Satellite, what I think of it, I've done a video on it too. Click on the search option and you'll see my thoughts there. Too little evidence to give a thought from it. It was as much as I could post on the actual video, but that was it too. But it is about chronic pain patients. I have lupus, but also not sure where things already happened to me. Seems to make more weird come to you. No, and whatever your passion is, like just do it. Like if try it out. I mean, it's almost like that meme. I hate to say it, but he's right. That Shia LaBeouf meme. Just do it. Just do it. Like find the time, set a schedule, and follow the 2 things that I recommend: consistency and quality. Make it quality, good info, and then make it consistent. It's just like any other TV show or that you like. I mean, if the quality is not there, you're going to tune out. If the consistency is not there, then you're going to tune out. But if whatever your passion is, absolutely, just try to do it. That seems to make more weird come to you. Oh, you mean like if you talk about something that it might bring attention to you, whatever you're talking about. I agree with that. That's why I try not to talk about certain things, like I mentioned in the past, like elementals and others. But yes, it's definitely something that I agree with. Last one, Fort Worth Stockyards has a haunted bed and breakfast. I read about that. I was looking up information on hauntedplaces.org to try to see where I could go. That's where I found out about Lake Worth Castle, and then about another place I wanted to visit, Nash Farm, if I'm not mistaken. But because of this rainy weather, it's no go. But Fort Yard Stockyards, the only reason I didn't go there was because it's a bed and breakfast, so I don't think those places allow you to just walk around and say, "Hi, can I do a live stream, or can I take pictures of this haunted place?" They're a business, so I think first and foremost they'll want to serve whoever's there as a paying customer rather than, let's say, you as a tourist trying to take pictures of it. So that's why I didn't go there. But if I do go to one of those places, it would be for me as a paying customer at night, so that way I could try to do a live stream all I want at night. I haven't gone that far yet, but that could always be a possibility too. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Oh, thank you, you too, Sin City Renee. Much appreciated for your comments. Absolutely. Stay strong, says Groovin Cat. Absolutely. Great talking to you. Great talking to you too. So, all right, everybody. Thanks, everyone. Oh, already an hour. Man, that time goes by fast. So be on the lookout. Hopefully tomorrow, if the weather lightens up, I'll be able to do live streams there in Aurora, Texas. So I'll try to post on my community like an alert for y'all whenever that happens. And if so, then I'll let y'all know. Hopefully it comes up. Bad news though is forecast. Today was 70% rain in our area here, and the same area in Aurora. Tomorrow, 100% rain. 100. So it doesn't look so good. But as soon as things clear up and I find out better news, then I'll let everybody know. So thank you as always, everybody, and for the super chats, very much appreciated. And yeah, I'll post good news hopefully tomorrow on more live streams. So all right, everyone, thanks again as always. Take care.